Hey there, this is Tiff from Reach Your Potential with Tiff. What we do here is we build the belief and courage in you to go after your big dreams in your life. We develop the mindset, the strategies, and the habits to bring out the person you are destined to become. Listen up, take notes, let's go. Hey there, Tiff here, or welcome to Reach Your Potential with Tiff. As you know, we're working through the lessons from A Course in Miracles. We are now here at lesson 10. The theme for this lesson is My Thoughts Do Not Mean Anything. Now, this idea applies to all thoughts of which you are aware or become aware in the practice periods. So you got to make sure that you keep practicing. So all these lessons that we're working through, it's important that you practice these lessons that you're actually going through. Okay, don't just listen to them. You got to make sure that you're practicing them. The reason the idea is applicable to all of them is that they are not your real thoughts. We have made this distinction before, and we will do so again. You have no basis for comparison as yet. When you do, you will have no doubt that what you once believed were your thoughts did not mean anything. This is the second time we've used this kind of idea. The form is only slightly different. This time the idea is introduced with my thoughts instead of these thoughts. So as we've been working through these lessons, we've been talking about these thoughts don't mean anything. Now we're making the distinction and the change to my thoughts do not mean anything. And no link is made overly with the things around you. The emphasis is now on the lack of reality of what you think you think. This aspect of the correction process began with the idea that the thoughts of which you are aware are meaningless, outside rather than within, and then stressed their past rather than their present status. Now we're emphasizing that the presence of these thoughts means that you are not thinking. This is merely another way of repeating our earlier statement that your mind is really a blank. To recognize this is to recognize nothingness when you think you see it. As such, it is the prerequisite for vision. So what it's talking about here is that when you see something, you don't make any judgments. Okay, your mind is blank. There's no future, there's no past, there's no meaning behind everything that you're seeing. That's the whole idea of it. Okay, now close your eyes for these exercises and introduce them by repeating the idea for today quite slowly to yourself, and then add, this idea will help to release me from all that I now believe. Okay, so the whole idea is that we've had all these beliefs about things that we've seen because of past experiences. Now what we're working on is this idea will help to release me from all that I now believe. The exercises consist, as before, in searching your mind for all the thoughts that are available to you, without selection or judgment. Okay, so we're not making any judgments and we're not being selective on specific thoughts. Try to avoid classification of any kind. In fact, if you find it helpful to do so, you might imagine that you are watching an oddly assorted procession going by, which has little, if any, personal meaning to you. As each one crosses your mind, say, my thought about whatever it is that you're thinking does not mean anything. Okay, that is the whole theme of what's happening today. So any thoughts that come up about whatever you're thinking, what you want to do is say, my thought about whatever that thought that comes up for you does not mean anything. Today's thought can obviously serve for any thought that distresses you at any time. In addition, 5 practice periods are recommended, each involving no more than a minute or so of mind searching. It is not recommended that this time period be extended, and it should be reduced to half a minute or less if you're experiencing discomfort. Remember, however, to repeat the idea slowly before applying it specifically, and also to add, this idea will help to release me from all that I now believe. So the whole idea here is we want to be releasing any thoughts that we have about anything. We're not going to add any meaning to them. What I found really effective working through this lesson was that anything that I saw, that I could instantly be aware that a thought came up about that particular thing, or a judgment that came up, what I would do through this lesson would I'd go, oh, my thoughts do not mean anything. Or that specific topic, my thoughts about whatever it was that I was saying or thinking does not mean anything. And I found that that was a really effective way to help me get through this lesson, because at times we're finding that, and I know what I did, I found that certain people would upset me. So I kept saying, my thoughts do not mean anything. My thoughts do not mean anything. That's the whole theme of it. Okay. So in saying that, enjoy your lesson 10. My thoughts do not mean anything. What you want to be saying to yourself is that my thought about whatever that thought is does not mean anything. And I want you to understand this, that this idea will help to release me from all that I now believe. Enjoy your lesson, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.